Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
The following portion of Living Local Carolina is sponsored by Crestwood Publications. Hi guys, welcome back to Living Local Carolina. I have an author in the studio, Terrence Glasscock. I'm a fantasy reader and a fantasy lover, so I'm really excited to get to know you a little bit more.
Well, thank you. I also like fantasy, although I'm an eclectic reader, so I read just about everything.
And the book that we're going to be talking about today, that is a trilogy, is not just a fantasy book. It's a lot of different genres in one, right?
Yes, it is. The Soul Fast is the name of the first book in the trilogy. It's an unusual mix. It's a romance, it's a history, it's an adventure, and it's a mystery. All of those genres intermingle in the book.
It's all the things that I love about reading, because it can really transport you to other places.
Many places, yes.
And you didn't always write, correct? You started writing after you retired.
I started writing after I retired. I was in banking for most of my life and always wanted to write, but I guess I never had the courage. Once I retired, I thought it was time to stop seeming and start being, and what I wanted to be was a writer. So I just dove in, gave it a try.
Well, that's amazing that you've been able to publish a book so far, but did it take as long as you thought it was going to write it?
It took, I had no idea how long it was going to take to write my first book. It took the better part of a year.
Oh, wow.
But I've written the second book now, and that only took me about 3 months. So
okay, you got the ball rolling.
I've gotten used to it.
Okay. Well, tell everybody a little bit about the book. We don't want to spoil anything per se.
Well, the book opens in 11th century England with a young couple, Tristan and Sabina, who were denied the right to marry and therefore have submitted themselves to a pagan ritual called the Soul Fast, which, when they exchange rings, nature promises that their souls will be bound eternally, and that sometime in the future, when these same two rings are exchanged by another loving couple, then Tristan and Sabina will be brought back to their present moment, and they will be allowed to live their lives together.
Okay, I have goosebumps, first of all.
And so the book goes forward then into modern times, and a young professor of medieval mythology discovers a painting and a manuscript that describes that ceremony, and becomes obsessed with finding the rings and seeing if he and someone else can bring that prophecy to a conclusion, to a positive conclusion for Tristan and Sabina.
And hopefully there's a good romance ending there, but I won't ask any direct questions.
Absolutely there is, of course.
And I always love to hear that. So you're planning on writing, now you're in your second book, but you're planning on writing a third, so you know how it's going to end, right?
Yes, although I have to say, the way I write, I start off with an idea, and it's a deductive and inductive process. So when I start a book, I start with an idea, and then I start developing details. And then those details turn corners, and characters begin to evolve. And once that happens, then I start listening to the characters. The characters start to tell me what they think, or where they think the story ought to go. Sometimes they try to hijack the story, and I don't want to go where they want to go, but then it becomes an inductive process. The characters I've created begin to inform me what they think should happen next. So when I start writing a book, it's just a general idea, and I don't even have an idea for an ending.
Well, I'm sure excited to see how it ends in the final end. If people are watching this right now and they want to buy a copy of the book, how can they do that?
Oh, they can do that on Amazon.
This portion of Living Local Carolina was sponsored by Crestwood Publications.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Welcome back to Living Local Carolina, everyone. I have a friend in the house, Lion Flood. You're a magician.
Yes, I have been trying my whole life to attain that little status when the hands glow. Haven't got there yet, but yeah.
I think you have. And you've got a trick to show us today, right?
Yes, I've got a few, and one of the things that I've really been focusing on is really just being more intimate, having someone understand that the magic is in their hands. And so I'll start off with showing you one very quick one, really quick, using simply a cup and a die. What I like for you to do is take both of those items really quick, place the die inside of the cup, ensuring there's nothing sticky, no tricky stuff or anything like that, right?
No.
Shake and rattle and roll, perfect. What I wanna do is I wanna show you that the die is gonna go through the portal at the cup. I've learned that if I squeeze it at a certain point that opens up, I throw it through. Would you do me a favor and place your hand flat just like that? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not gonna be able to see it happen from there, but you will be able to see her reaction when she notices that the die is no longer in my hand, travels through that hole and runs into her hand. On a count of three. 3, 2, 1.
I just felt it.
You felt it drop? That's
How
called
did you do
gravity.
that?
It's good.
Every time I ask, how did you do that? But he's never going to tell me, of
Right.
course. It's all a secret, but this is all about close-up magic where
Yes.
people can really feel like they're involved in it.
Exactly. I want to use their items. I want them to be able to go home and tell a story to their family and friends when they're like, I don't know. That's not the case. So to show you another quick one, if you don't mind.
Okay,
All right,
go
we're going to use her phone this time. Would you take out your phone for me?
Sure.
And I want to show you, everyone else, something that's going to be happening. While we do that, are you familiar with the cards? Or the playing cards, ace through king and type like that?
Yes.
Okay, I just want you to think of a playing card right now. 3, 2, 1, got it?
Got it.
All right, what's the first thing that came to your mind?
Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts. So now here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna show you all my Wi-Fi. I have a static electricity. If I rub my foot a little close, watch what happens here. As this starts to flicker, and watch what happens. The Wi-Fi starts to change to your card.
Oh, I don't like that.
But that's
How
my
did
phone.
you do that?
That's my phone. Wait, can you go to your Wi-Fi settings?
Yeah.
I don't think this can, is it? Because if it's on my phone, I'm a magician. But if it's on
It's on
her
my phone, too.
the card that she thought of is on her
What on
phone.
earth? How did you know I was going to think? I promise I didn't tell him. You're too good. You're too good.
I try.
Freaky stuff. I love it. Okay, well, where can people come and see you?
Yes, so now we have the Asher Theater on Saturdays, 4 p.m., doing matinees, an intimate 20-25 seat theater where they have hors d'oeuvres, people can have drinks, a great date night. Asher Theater is where I'm at currently now.
Perfect. Where can people get tickets and stuff?
Yes, you have to call the show right now because they've been selling out so much. They've been putting people on the wait list. So you can call the show, call the theater and ask, and they will get you on the list.
All right, tell me about the show.
Okay, so the show is set from my life story. Most people don't know. First off, I'm a retired devil dog, Marine Corps. Hoorah! I got into magic when I was injured. I had 4 knee surgeries, 3 back surgeries, laying up in the hospital, had to learn to re-walk. Over a year. First time I smiled is when I saw a magic trick online, and then I started saying, I want to learn it. They started to wheel patients into my room, and I did magic tricks for them. Eventually, when I was able to be wheeled out, they wheeled me into patient's room, started doing magic tricks, so it was almost like a therapy session.
Yeah.
And I've based the show around that, because I wasn't able to walk. I had to do things in people's hands, and so I said, that's what my heart did.
That's
So I did it.
awesome.
Yeah.
My mom is a PT, so she
Oh.
will love to hear about this.
Yes.
That you were bringing people happiness, even when you were still trying to get back on your
I tell
feet.
you one time my PT told me, bend the knee.
Yeah, they're not so nice all the time. My mom's just tough as nails. The following portion of Living Local Carolina is sponsored by Heartful Hearts in Home Care. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. Today, I am talking with Simone and Jerry from Heartful Hearts. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How about you?
I'm excited to get to know you guys a little better and
Yes.
learn what you do.
Awesome. So we are from Heartful Hearts in Home Care, and we are a non-medical service provider. So we hire caregivers and certified nursing assistants to go into the privacy of the homes, where we specialize in dementia and Alzheimer's.
Oh, and I was saying earlier that this is probably a very rewarding job,
It
but
is.
also extremely challenging
Yes,
at times. Talk
yes.
to me about that.
So it's very rewarding because there are so many people out here that need help. Families, it's so hard on the families to be able to care for their loved one. So the rewarding aspect of that is, just having someone in, and we come in, we take care of them, and we become family. And so many challenges, whereas, people that are suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, dealing with the behaviors and things of that nature, it's hard for the families to know what to do and how to do it.
So I guess what made you want to start this company in the first place?
So I've been a certified nursing assistant for over about 15 years. Wow. I've worked in a lot of rehab facilities. I've worked with hospice entities, nursing homes, and just having that passion to love people and love what I do and what I did in those facilities at that time. I just had an urge to know that, I had to do this, but to do it and show people how to do it the correct way.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yes.
It's definitely worthwhile to have that experience.
Yes.
But what does it look like when somebody is reaching out to y'all and wants your care, I guess?
So we are partnered with a lot of the local hospitals,
Okay.
hospice companies, therapy companies. So typically, if they're not with a company, what the family can do, they can just give us a call. And let us know what we got going on. And then normally what we do is we go right on out and we meet with the families and to see what we can do to be of assistance.
This portion of Living Local Carolina was sponsored by Heartful Hearts in Home Care. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. I'm so excited to be joined by Robin and Divine. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Oh my goodness. So y'all came all the way from Florence, and you're from an organization called Ladies on a Mission?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, tell me a little bit about Ladies on a Mission and what y'all do.
Ladies on a Mission is an outreach program where we go out and we do stuff for the kids. We basically have events for the kids, like if going back to school, Christmas events, different events that we do for the kids. We also do for the elderly too. Mm-hmm. We feed the elderly people and everything, and we just hold big events. Right now we're not getting funding, but we just go on and do what we got to do to make sure that everything puts a smile on some child's face.
And that's what it's all about, really,
Yes,
at the end of the day. And I hear you guys are both authors.
Yes,
We are authors.
Tell me about your books. I'm so
okay.
excited to hear about this.
Okay.
Well, I wrote the book Robin Tastes is Great, and I also invented some seasonings with it. And I love to cook. I just love to cook, and I decided to write a
She
cookbook,
cooks very well.
and it's called Robin Tastes is Great. You can purchase it on Amazon.
Yeah,
I have wrote 2 books actually. One is a children's book called See You Later Alligator, which is a great children's book. It's very adventurous and it will put a smile on so many people's faces. Actually, I already have. So I'm just grateful to have wrote this book, and I pray that it continue making people smile each and every single day. Who has a chance to read it. And this right here is actually my newest book. It's called The Young Man with the Heart of Gold. It's a wonderful story about a young man named Cody Scott who goes through different things in his life, but his faith in God and him continuing to press forward encourages so many people to not give up through his story. So it's a great novel, and it's going to help so many people, and I'm just grateful that God blessed me to write it.
I love it. Well, where can people find out more information about Ladies on a Mission? Or you said you can purchase books on Amazon?
Yes, on Amazon. The Young Man with the Heart of Gold and See You Later Alligator. You can find both of these on Amazon.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Well, thanks again for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. I'm joined in studio by Billy, who is from Day One, Week One. How are you doing, Billy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, let's get right into it.
Okay.
Tell me about your organization.
So in June 9th of this year, 2023, I had an idea to start a nonprofit for first responders and veterans. The suicide rate across our country is astronomical. I did a little bit of research, and it's not hard to find over 450 first responders killed themselves last year in 2022. And that doesn't account for the 6,000 veterans that have killed themselves since the wars have started in 2001. There's a passion and a heavy burden on my heart to stop my brothers and sisters from killing themselves. So I started the nonprofit. It's called Day One, Week One. What we're doing is we're providing a platform for them on our podcast to come and tell their stories. They talk about their traumatic experiences, how they got through those, what their support system looked like, the people that they've reached out to, and some of those people they didn't reach out to when they were in dark places. My personal story of 2 years ago, I was in that frame of mind of suicide. I'd gone through a kind of not a traumatic event, but a traumatic experience in my career. And I felt like I had lost my identity. And with losing that identity and losing the touch of the people in my support system, I didn't feel like there was another place to go. Thankfully, my wife, being as incredible as she is, reached out after I called her and told her that today's a bad day. She reached out to a friend of ours who was an elder in our church. Within minutes, he arrived at my house. And he got out of the car and he kind of gave me a little smirk, but he did something that literally changed my life. He put his hand on the back of my neck and he put his head to my head. He said, "I'm not going to let you do this today. We're doing this together. So for every day that you need me here, I'm going to be here." And it changed my life. The physical touch in that moment, that's what we're missing. That's what we've lost over the years. So Day One, Week One wants to bring that back. My goal is to have a mental health triage group that can self-deploy into these situations. I'm not talking about having them in a situation where they're going to put themselves in danger or anyone else. They're not going to go to an active situation. It's going to be someone that reaches out and says, "Hey, I need help." They're going to deploy. They're going to go where they are. Unlike a 911 or a crisis center where they would just talk to them on the phone and kind of consider their resources, they're going to deploy to where they are. "Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. Let's go get a sandwich. Let's talk about what's going on," and then make that connection. And the triage part of it will be to find out exactly what they need and get them the resources that they need from that.
I love it. Okay. How can people listen to your podcast or learn more information?
So all you got to do is go to dayoneweek1.org. Obviously, we're taking donations. The big thing about the donations is we're obviously still building this organization. So there's costs, startup costs, there's different things, application fees, things like that go along with it. But eventually, when all of those things are complete, the plan is that we're going to start sponsoring first responders, helping to pay for some of their medical bills, their seeking mental health bills, their counseling and things like that. The best way to reach out, you can go to any platform. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok, Truth Social, Getter. We've opened up all of the avenues so that you can't really miss us, hopefully, out there. And we want to make sure that everybody's understanding and knowing that Day One, Week One is here.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.